All right, everyone. Welcome back here to Versus Live. I'm Corey Baumeister.
I'm Ross Merriam.
We are playing some modern specials, some modern sweet specials from SCG Dallas this last weekend. We are on to our third match. We're 1-1, so we are playing for the marbles here. No big deal. No big deal. Before we get into it, yeah, I know. Focus. You haven't had the marbles in so long.
I know.
So very long.
I've been having withdrawal symptoms.
Don't forget, Versus Live is sponsored by, of course, the marbles and Carnox chairs.
Yeah, we should get a marble company to sponsor us.
We should. We
Come
should.
on. Cedric, let's work on this.
We're really putting the pressure to Cedric on this.
Yeah.
Don't forget
pressure on Cedric for anything.
Smart. Don't forget to head over to carnox.com/SCG to get 10% off one of these chairs if you so choose. And our third match here, I'm playing Rakdos. We got a nice little Bant Stoneforge Mystic deck over here. Correct. Do you think this Stoneforge Mystic deck is kind of like the final form, like the best one, or what do you think?
I certainly don't think it's the final form, but I like the combination of I like Noble Hierarch a lot. I think it's just one of the 5 best cards in all of Modern.
Yep.
And I like the core of Giver of Runes, Stoneforge Mystic, Spell Queller.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of card advantage there. There's a lot of disruption, and you have 2 really key creatures that people want to aim their removal at, but you force them to aim it at the giver, and then your better creatures survive.
Yep.
So I like that combination. I think this deck does a good job of utilizing the swords outside of the context of Stoneforge Mystic. So you see 2 different swords alongside the Batter Skull. We've got our removal and Path to Exile. And, we can play a long game. We'll grind them out with Ice Fang Twaddles and Jace the Mind Sculptors and things like that. Or you can just start putting the pressure on. Spell Queller and Noble Hierarch and, swords on things. Ranger Captain of Eos, another way to generate multiple bodies. I like the little package that's going on with that. You can find Noble, you can find Giver as your good ones, your staple 1-drops.
Yep.
And then there's a couple tutor targets. There's Hex Drinker for when you're flooded in the late game. It becomes a really big threat. Yeah. And then you've got your 1 Caustic Caterpillar to blow up artifacts and enchantments. A lot of those floating around. So a nice small little tutor package there. I think it's a well-built deck. And I would like to explore, more just the Bant in general.
Sure. And one thing I like, even when you're not flooded, if you go Ranger into just getting a Hex Drinker, next turn you just play Hex Drinker, level it. That's an option that your opponent has to be aware of. And if they're a deck that relies heavily on instant speed removal, you just can't let that happen. So just searching for that makes people have to play their gameplay differently. And the one thing I like about it, just everything ties together really nicely. The deck is just always kind of functioning. It has these great draws off the top. So yeah, I think it's really cool. And not to take anything away from the Rakdos deck, I think this deck is sweet too. It's a heavily disruption-based deck, a heavily hand disruption-based deck similar to Smallpox, but it's trying to take advantage of some more of the power of Bevelum Reveler and Seasoned Pyromancer to kind of restock the hand, as well as have some of these really hard to deal with threats like Hezeret the Fervent and Liliana the Veil and stuff to maybe control you a little bit more. So it's going to be pretty similar to our last match where you were trying to contain all my plays and then play your threats that are, not insanely impactful, but will get there over time if you're light on resources. The table's kind of turned now. I want to strip you of your resources and then play a couple of threats to kind of ride the distance there.
Yeah.
So,
I think this is a very interesting take. John Lim, who played it, if I were to get into his head looking at the deck list, I think he's just thinking that I want to play a mid-range deck. I want to play an interactive deck, but I'm expecting all this Tron and these big mana decks.
Yeah.
So I need something to help me out in those matchups. So he decided to build a mid-range deck that can main deck Blood Moon, sideboard Pillage, and really help out in those matchups. But once you do that, it's really hard to play 3 colors. So he turns towards some of the red threats as opposed to splashing for Tarmogoyf and Bloodbird Elf in Jund. So you got Seasoned Pyromancer, which I think is one of the key cards in the deck.
Definitely.
Looked impressive for him all weekend. I played against him twice. Definitely a great card for him. And then, you still got that great removal, that great discard. And then the issue with Seasoned Pyromancer is it doesn't apply a ton of pressure, and that's where the Hazarets come in. Hazaret is great at applying pressure. You're pretty good at emptying your hand quickly. And, that is another card that I don't think you would have thought of going into the tournament.
Definitely not.
Probably put in some good work. Definitely attacked me a couple times.
Yep. And I think you said something perfect there where he was allowed to play Blood Moons in a deck like this for a couple reasons. just because he knew he was going to struggle with these big mana decks, so it's smart to have that card. But most of the time, you're like, do I want to play something that is so narrow against the rest of the field that when I draw it, it's so bad? But when you have Seasoned Pyromancer, you're able to get rid of these cards that late game are really bad. Kind of a problem that you struggled with Black-White Pox is like, you're drawing these Thoughtseize Lates, and it's just like, okay.
It's stuck in my hand, yeah.
But now if I draw Thoughtseize Late and Blood Moon's Late, I'm discarding to Seasoned Pyromancer. They're turning into new cards. They're turning into you. I mean, what more could you want?
Yeah, definitely. That filtering is super important when you play narrowly powerful cards. So
exactly.
Really, Seasoned Pyromancer, just a really impressive card. I think we're going to be seeing more of that. It's definitely up there as one of the better cards in Modern Horizons. Yeah,
Modern Horizon. I'm really excited for Modern now just because we get to see the impact of this specifically Modern format now that Hogak has decided to finally leave.
Yeah, it's definitly having an impact, and I don't think that impact is even fully felt to this point.
So. Exactly.
Oh, hey guys, you talking about me? No, Hogak, please, go away.
Hogak cannot respond. Okay. Hogak is in jail. We know this.
I get on my one phone call.
So I'm going to be on the play here for game one of this final match, and I've got a solid hand. I have to make one decision as to how I want to sequence, and honestly, because I really want to play this in turn 2, I think I want to lead on this instead of the nobles. So
okay. And we look at my hand, nothing, insanely impressive, but I don't think you can mulligan this. I get early plays. I have some interaction, so we're going to keep.
Okay. I will start on Plains, Giver of Runes.
Giver of Runes. Great card. Definitely a great card. So now I can just kill Giver of Rune if I want, but it's not protecting anything yet, so I'm not insanely afraid of it.
Yeah. Unlike Mother of Runes, Giver, you can wait. You have to use the removal spell on it eventually, but you don't have to do it immediately.
Oh yeah, Mother of Runes target itself.
Oh yeah,
that's just not fair. That's
Mother
just
of
not
Runes
fair.
Is not a realistic Magic card.
Okay. But Giver, it gives some leeway for a reasonable Magic card. So I'm going to go down to 17 in total and see what you're cooking with.
Okay. Well, I think there's a pretty obvious take here with this Thoughtseize.
Oh, yeah. Get that out of there. No, I mean, there's really no option here. This deck just in general doesn't have that many very important creatures besides Hezret and stuff. But I only play that when the coast is clear anyways. We're definitely going to take Mystic and hope to go from there. So okay. I'm at 17, you're at 20, and I'll pass.
And I will fetch. Do I want to get Forest and help against Blood Moon, or do I want to get Breeding Pool and make sure I have blue mana? I currently don't have any blue cards in my hand, and I think I can find blue mana later, and I already have it with the mana creatures. So I'm just going to get basic Forest.
Okay.
Protect my life total a bit. And because Giver can't protect itself, and I'm pretty happy if a removal spell gets aimed at the Noble Hierarch, I am going to take this opportunity to get 2 damage.
To get busy? Okay.
So get you to 15.
Sounds
I'm at
great.
19, and your turn.
All right, we're going to untap. Not our best draw possible. Going to go with a Bloodstained Mire. And we're going to keep it nice and slow and steady and ship it back.
Okay. So no Dreadhorde Arcanist, which is a good sign.
Yeah, that card is broken.
And
as the kids would say these days.
Yes.
Everything's broken.
So, not much to do on this turn.
Okay.
Let's play a Birds of Paradise.
All right. And do I know any cards in your hand?
Path Exile.
Path, okay, cool.
So I guess we'll get in for 2 again.
Okay. I will push that.
Sure.
Wanted to wait for that. I save a damage by doing it on my turn. I do open myself up to Spellqualler, but I was willing to make that risk.
And I will pass the turn.
All right, we'll go to 14.
Yep.
Now we're going to make sure we get a red source here. This isn't anything like when we were playing Grixis Death Shadow where we're trying to deal damage to ourselves. We're just going to get a Blood Crypt and a play tapped here. Be on our merry way.
Fortunately, had a sort of 1 threat hand here, and the discard spell took it, but we got some time to draw into another one.
Yep, but the problem with discard decks is you can't Thoughtseize the top of the deck. Ooh, but you can draw very good Magic cards. All right, well, that was pretty strong. I think we are going to actually play it. So if we're taking a peek at our hand, this is an important turn. So I'm going to play a Seasoned Pyromancer, but it's what do I want to discard here? And I think it's going to be these. So I'd rather have this in play. We're just doing this as a kind of way to fix our hand a little bit. So we're going to take 13. We're going to go Seasoned Pyromancer, and we're just going to...
So there's a feeling he's discarding a land and a spell. So.
We're actually going to discard 2 lands. We just want to draw 2 cards.
Why do you hate me?
We were a little flooded. I just don't want Ross on my side of the field. Yeah. And then I'll pass it to you.
On your end step, I'm going to crack this canopy.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if I want to pass this Pyromancer. I don't think I do. I think I'll have the option of doing it later if I want to.
Yeah, so, since I don't have any counter magic or anything, you usually will have 1 free mana.
Let's crack this.
Okay.
Actually, we don't need to do that yet, I guess. We can leave that just uncracked.
Okay.
So we're going to want to find a blue source with that.
Uncracked has been called.
I am going to play Ranger Captain of Eos.
It's a great card.
This one is going to find yet another Giver of Runes.
Okay.
And I could sack the Ranger Captain to ensure that the Giver lives to my turn, but that doesn't do anything. For a Mom, maybe that's like a consideration, but instead I will just pass.
Okay, and I know 1 path, and then that's about it, huh?
Yep.
All right.
Nice little 2-for-1 there.
Okay. Well, our draw was pretty decent. Nothing too special. Now, I think we just really want to keep Giver off the field so there's no giving to be gived. That makes sense, right?
Yes. Perfect sense.
Then we'll just play a Bloodstained Mire. We can't attack into Ranger, so we're just going to ship it to you.
Okay, let's crack this fetch.
Okay.
18.
Sure.
And I'm in an awkward spot on my next attack where like a chump block is pretty easy for Corey to make, knowing that he can activate the Seasoned Pyromancer later on.
Can't chump the bird.
Is there not a Hallowed Fountain in this deck?
Maybe not.
There we go.
All right.
Gotta be a Hallowed Fountain. Definitely
Dan, I told you to take those out.
White is definitely our most important color there, so I went with Hallowed Fountain over Breeding Pool. We've got double white cards in Ranger, a lot of attacks for white mana. So you have 3 cards in your
I have
hand
3
right now?
cards.
Feels like you're gearing up for a Bedlam Reveler, which would be pretty good.
Pretty soon.
We're 1
Be
mana away from
afraid.
that.
Very afraid. All right, and we got 13 to 18, right, Ross?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's get in there for 4.
Okay, now I do have that option of chump blocking here, and I kind of like it. Getting this in the graveyard. We're going to do that.
Okay. I will. So you didn't play a discard spell last turn, which makes me think you don't have one. Could have a Colligan's Command here. That is definitely a card you could have. So let's we're gonna play a Stoneforge Mystic.
Stoneforge Mystic. Okay.
Good. I'm gonna get a Sword of Light and Shadow.
Okay.
Which is our better, grindy card as opposed to Feast and Famine.
Makes sense.
We've already got some creatures to get back. But I do not want to expose it just yet to Colligan's Command, so I will instead expose it to a discard spell, which I think is less likely to be there. So I will pass the turn.
Okay. Now I have a decision. I have some options here at end step what to do. None of which are particularly great. And you have 3 cards now?
I do have 3 cards.
Okay. Let's just... And I know those 2. Think we are just going to... Yeah, that was a good play on Ross's part. Let's see. Think we'll just Fatal Push this. Don't care too much about the Stoneforge Mystic since it already
Sacrifice it
searched.
in response.
Dang it. Got me. And then now it's the decision, do I want to sack the canyon? And probably not. We'll sacrifice this, though. Go to 12.
Yep.
We might not have another blood crypt. For some reason, I thought there was a smaller amount than 4 of in here. Yeah, no more blood crypt. That's a little interesting.
Just need more room for basics because of the blood moons.
We'll go with a mountain. And, I mean, these lands are just great.
Yeah.
So now
Your mana's still fine. You got 2 doubles of both.
Exactly. And I think we actually are going to sacrifice this here. Draw a card.
Yep.
Untap. Drew a card that was not that great right now.
So see, right now, I have 3 cards in hand to Corey's 4. We both have 3 lands, but I have 3 cards on the battlefield. So I'm up 2 cards right now through
Definitely.
this, parade of 2-for-1s.
Definitely. Let me read this. Yeah, so returning creatures, just whenever you get to return free value, it's so dangerous for me. So I have to attempt to do something about it. We'll say go.
Okay. Don't think there's a flash threat that I'm worried about, but let's get in there for 1.
All right, 11.
You to 11. I will play Windswept Teeth and pass the turn.
All right, nothing we can do about that. We'll untap. Nothing's changed since we drew that land. We'll ship it back.
On your end step, I will activate Stoneforge Mystic.
Sure.
Put in sword.
Okay.
Go to my turn.
Yeah. Let's see. We got options. Now I'm trying to play around maybe like Spellqualler, but if I want to play around that, I would want to wait till upkeep anyways. So we'll for sure let you untap. I might stop you in the upkeep here. All right, we're going to go with Culligan's Command. Modes are going to be Destroy and... What do I want to kill, or do I want to bring back Pyromancer or discard? All viable options. I think the worst option is dealing 2 damage to something. So we'll go destroy target artifact and bring back Seasoned Pyromancer.
Okay, I will quell.
Did have it.
Culligan's
Okay,
Command.
that's great.
Then let's draw for turn.
Yep. And that's just... Maybe even just lights out here.
So I'm wondering what card I want to... So if I want to get Giver Runes back here, I'll crack this fetch before drawing because I'm using my mana. But I don't think I do. I think I'm actually going to rebuy the other Stoneforge. So I'll just draw for turn. And not a bad draw. I will equip the Stoneforge Mystic.
Okay.
Attack you for 4 with Exalted.
Okay.
Brings you to 7.
Down to 7.
I gain 3 to 21.
Yep.
We will rebuy the Stoneforge Mystic so that we can get another piece of equipment.
Sure.
If you have a removal spell for Queller.
Now I just have to kill so many creatures that matter right now. It's just unreal.
No, just a removal spell for Queller will, at least deal with the board. But
Yep.
yeah, I've got Stoneforge Mystic, another one coming at you. So
It's pretty rough. That's for sure.
being able to just sit there with the Queller back with the Stoneforge was quite good.
Yep, exactly. And that's the only card I was afraid of. There was just no proper way to play around it.
No.
Since you didn't get hasty and play it the turn you search for it, that would have been your reckoning. So that was a great play on your part. So we're gonna go with a Seasoned Pyromancer.
Yep.
Now we got some Rosmariums here. See if we can find an answer here. Top of our deck was not good to us. Not good to us at all. We will just play this and ship it to you.
Okay, let's crack this fetch, go to 20. And, that's one of the reasons that Culligan's Command isn't just like this, bona fide answer to Stoneforge Mystic. Because, the people playing Stoneforge are going to have things like Spell Queller and Spell Pierce and Force of Negation. And, they can wait on their Stoneforge, just have this card in their hand and
Yeah.
make sure the coast is clear.
Yeah, it's a great Magic card, don't get me wrong, and it definitely got better with Stoneforge being unbanned, but it's not the catch-all by any means. It's not like, okay, the one answer for Stoneforge is we must play Culligan's commands now. It's definitely not the case.
Yeah. So, I am in a position where I kind of want to just play around a bolt, so I don't think I want to move the sword over to Queller. I think what I want to do is just move it onto the bird and attack for 4. So let's do that.
Okay.
So move sword to bird, attack you for 4.
Okay, I'll take 4. Down to 3. You go to
easy to
23.
I will then... I just bring back Ranger Captain?
And now you just have so much gas that you're spinning on all cylinders.
Here's what I do.
here.
I'm going to bring back the Giver.
Yep.
And I'm going to play both Giver and Stoneforge.
Yep.
So,
I think I would have brought back Giver last turn because he would have been able to play it too. And then if I don't have removal that turn, I would have just been locked.
Yeah. But if you did have removal, then I'm like, if you do draw something, then I just have this Giver.
Sure.
So I thought that was one of the easier ways for me to lose.
That could be.
I'm going to actually just get Sword of Feast and Famine.
Okay.
My goal is that even to generate just multiple lethal threats next turn that can attack through your stuff.
Yeah.
So pass.
And I think I'm drawing completely dead here with our hand not being good. Didn't really develop very well. Probably the worst draw possible when you're about to Bedlam Reveler is another Reveler.
Fetch brings you to 2.
Yep. We'll go to 2. We have 1 play, and that's play one of our Revelers. They do cost 4 now. So discard, draw 3. Normally a great card. And we did find a way to answer something here.
So you answer this, quell, destroy here, kill Giver.
I mean, that seems pretty good. I don't know if it keeps us alive, but we do have to just bolt here. And it's definitely destroy artifact. We might have to destroy the bird. Oh, I guess we can't. Because
it's black and this is currently pro black.
So that's my only option. But then the Sword of Feast and Famine straps to the bird and we die.
That is my plan.
Blink.
This is a play that would play straight into another removal spell, but you've already played a million of them.
True.
And it's not like it would end I would still have a lot of recourse if you had the removal spell here.
Exactly.
So let's play and equip.
That'll do it.
And in for 3.
That'll do it. Yeah, and I mean, once again, we saw in this game that I was able to, similar to last match, I was able to strip all your threats from your hand, but you just can't stop the top of the deck. And when you have cards that get you other cards that keep the engine going, like your deck is just full of, where you can essentially 2-for-1 me, it just becomes so hard for me to deal with. My hand disruption, removal spells, and threats have to line up so well. And that just makes me realize that maybe I don't want to be the Thoughtseize deck right now. Every deck has so much value, whether it's Bant Soulherder, whether it's Stoneforge Mystic, whether it's Urza, that maybe hand disruption is not as great as it has been in the past.
Yeah. We like to think of cards like Thoughtseize as being good against Stoneforge because you get to take their Battle Skull, this 1/2. They're still up the 1/2.
Yeah.
And you're down the card. So, and now because you've spent your turn not affecting the battlefield, they can get ahead and they're ahead on cards too. So I don't think that matchup actually goes that well for the Thoughtseize player.
Exactly.
Where Thoughtseize helps you is, against the more linear decks and big mana decks.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're talking about mid-range mirrors, Thoughtseize is a card that you board out in the Jund mirror. And you saw it play out there just like we did against the Urza. The Urza deck, the previous match, and we're going to get to some sideboarding, hopefully get in another game or two because we're pushing it. So we'll take a quick break here and we'll set up sideboarding and get to the rest of this final match of Bant Stoneblade against Rakdos Midrange. Don't go anywhere.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to Versus Live here. We are in the sideboarding phase here for a third and final round. Ross is up a game with Bant Stoneforge Mystic Blade here. Bant Blade, I guess that's probably a cleaner name for it.
Bant Stoneblade.
Bant Stoneblade.
The powers that be.
What
the deck.
What the kids have been saying these days.
Oh, they're not kids.
Yeah, anybody...
The old farts we have typing deck lists.
That remember the Stoneforge decks. So what we're sideboarding on my end, we are taking out Blood Moon, obvious side out on play or draw. It's just not good enough. You have enough basics. You have creatures that can produce mana outside of your lands. Thoughtseize on the play, I think, is a little worse. On the draw, there is going to be a change where I'm going to want to make because Liliana gets a lot worse on the draw. So I'll probably make that switch out for Thoughtseize if we get to a game 3 here. Cards we're bringing in, just more ways to effectively deal with creatures. Kolaghan's Command, as we saw, be pretty good. I mean, it wasn't ideal in that game, but...
Had it resolved, it would have been great.
It would have been.
It was a key card.
And I mean, if I would have had, another piece of interaction with that Kolaghan's Command, I would have had a blowout turn and I would have been miles ahead. But because you got to connect with Sword just ran away with the game in there. So we got Kolaghan's Command, Kalitas as a nice way to gain a board presence, gain a little bit of life to get myself out of trouble, as well as just gain an army when I start picking away at your creatures.
Yeah, my creatures are all 2-for-1s baked in, or at least a lot of them.
Yeah.
Now, what Kalitas does is it turns it around and turns all your removal spells into 2-for-1s. They all start making a zombie. So, then you can just recoup that advantage, because normally you're trading 1-for-1 with my 2-for-1 creatures and you just keep falling further and further behind. But Kalitas will at least keep you at parity, if not putting you ahead, because you're getting so much tempo.
Yep, 100%. And then we got one Chandra, Torch of Defiance. Planeswalker Diversity is pretty sweet. It can still be pretty decent. Your creatures don't actually attack for a lot of power. They nickel and dime you until you're dead. Yeah. So if I can tick up to 5 and you're forced to play a game where you have to be attacking that for 2, attacking it for 2, attacking for 3, I can usually use some removal to leverage the fact that I'm gaining card advantage from Chandra. So that becomes a big thing. Plus, Plague Engineer as a way to maybe clean up some elves, shrink your board a little. Should be okay. We didn't have anything that was too great outside of that to bring in. And I better end quick because, I mean, you got a lot to talk about it with your sideboarding plans.
Plenty to do on my side.
How did you come to the crazy sideboard? Is this a transformational sideboard you have here? Or?
Yeah, we are transforming from an anti-artifact deck with our Caustic Caterpillar. Just no good targets on the other side of the table. We've got a nice removal spell we can bring in instead of it. This card will deal with any of the creatures early if I need to deal with them. Bedlam Reveler, it deals with Hazoret, which is nice.
Yep.
And late in the game as a top deck, it'll just wipe your board.
Exactly. If I'm putting multiple threats on there, it could just be backbreaking.
Yeah, we're talking about setting up a deck that is juiced when you're in these top deck scenarios. Winds of Abandon is a nice one because it's functional early, which a lot of expensive, powerful cards aren't, but has that extra mode that makes it a real bomb late in the game.
Definitely. And yeah, like you said, there's not too many answers for Hazoret. I mean, you do have paths and stuff, so it's decent, but it's nice to have a couple extra to deal with that. Because if you don't have Giver of Ruins to protect your creature to be able to chump block Hazoret forever, shouldn't say chump block if it has protection, but just be able to block it forever, the card will run away pretty quickly. I mean, we've seen Hazoret dominate Standard for so long. It's been sleeping a little bit in Modern, but maybe it's perfectly timed to wake up.
Let's see it.
All right, so I'm going to be on the play. We're looking for a nice hand. This is pretty solid. I mean, this is a card we didn't really see a lot of, but it is very good in this matchup. We're going to keep nothing insane or anything, but
I will keep as well.
All right, Cliffs to you.
Okay, so I'm expecting a removal spell of some kind.
It could be anything. Could even be a boat.
I'm going to fetch out a Hallowed Fountain, go to 17, play Giver of Runes.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
All right, and we will kill that.
Okay.
You snuff it out. Okay, so then we're going to drop an Arcanist, which usually just demands an answer right away because this card is a nice one.
Indeed it is.
And then we'll ship it to you. And we had a very nice draw here. This is the exact kind of thing we wanted. So
17.
Our hand is developing quite well.
Okay, well, let's play a Razor Ridge Thicket and pass the turn.
Okay. All right, so I got to expect a path. Not that the Lightning Bolt is that relevant right now, but I could easily see a path coming down. So we're going to make a very tough path target in the form of Chandra here.
Chandra is pretty good.
Pretty solid. Okay, so we're going to get some elementals here if we got them. Oh, yeah, that's you as well. God, this deck should have been played by you. You know that, right? 2 different ways to make Ross Merriams? Oh, my. All right, I'm going to declare attacks.
Yep.
Get him in there.
Are we flashing back that bolt at all?
No flashback.
Okay. I'll take 3, go to 14.
Your turn.
End step, I will play a nice Svankwaddle.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
Card.
And these, unfortunately, do not get to stick around.
They do not.
Quaddle.
Is that what it says?
Close, yeah.
Close.
I was trying to do a mixture of Squirtle with Quaddle, you know.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
sorry, I was getting lost in my own brain up there. A meme was building, you know, as we were doing this. So
The Quaddle
let's
Squad.
Attack the Chandra.
Quaddle Squad. Yeah, can't you picture the Quaddle with sunglasses on like the Squirtles, you know?
Play a bird and
Okay.
pass the turn.
All right. More likely that there's going to be something done about Arcanist this time around. Now the question is, do we want to just get into damage? That's not very important right now. So I think I am just going to... I'm just going to move to combat.
Sure.
I'll attack. I will lightning bolt this time. I'll lightning bolt the Quaddle.
No blocks. I'll go to
Okay.
13.
All right. Then we will play a canyon.
Yep.
Sacrifice it.
Okay. I like to see that.
Yeah.
I like to see plays that don't affect the battlefield.
And then we'll just tick up.
Yeah. Use the 0.
Use the 0 to put a loyalty counter on
Done
there,
after
yeah.
that?
And then I'm done. Yep.
Okay, I will fetch to 12.
Okay.
This time we will just get basic forest to protect our life total a bit because we are under duress. I got another Quaddle here.
Okay. Quaddle resolves. I'm thinking if I want to do something else here. Quaddle's not that big of a deal to me right now, but the bird could represent something here.
Draw off this.
Yeah, you can draw off that, and you have 5 cards?
Yep.
I think we actually will bolt the bird here.
Okay. Aggressive bolting of the bird.
Yep.
So I certainly want to start developing my board. Just haven't found an answer for this Dreadhorde Arcanist, and it has been very annoying.
It's quite pesky when your spells get to go off twice.
Yeah. So play a Noble Hierarch.
Okay.
Off this forest. Let's get in for 2 on the Chandra.
I
you want us to.
may do something about that. Do I care about losing 2 loyalty? And I think I do. So we're actually going to bolt this Quaddle as well. We're bolting all the flying things. Just trying to maintain a small board presence here.
Okay, well, we can't really just sit here and fall behind. We just got to try to grind through this Arcanist, which is tearing us apart.
Yep.
So let's play a Stoneforge Mystic and
Okay.
get a sword so we can cast it after the Stoneforge gets bolted.
Okay.
Maybe get somewhere there. Definitely getting... Ooh, I'm a little behind right now, so maybe I want to get the Sword of Feast and Famine, but I'm also under some pressure with my life totals. But I think this will actually even help that as well. So let's get the Sword of Feast and Famine.
Okay.
And pass the turn. No 4th land, unfortunately.
All right. Ooh. That was a spicy one. That was a spicy draw. We take a look at our hand here. That's going to give us some options. Let's see. We're definitely going to want to deal with that Stoneforge Mystic. So this time I think we're okay with actually starting. You're at 12? Sorry.
Yes.
Okay. I'll put in 2 Ross Merriams. I'll declare and bolt this.
Okay, I'll take 3 and go to 9.
All right. And then we'll go a canyon and we'll say go.
That's not good. 3 in hand?
2. Yep.
Sweet.
We didn't sack the canyon this time, unlike last time, which I think this is a very good lesson to learn. It's something to be looked into. You're not sacking canyon if you have a bunch of cards that are expensive in your hand. You're trying to find something. Most of the time it's because you're flooded. Oh.
I will play a Giver Runes,
Giver, yep.
and I will pass the turn.
Okay, I gotta expect the 2/3 flyer here. Let's see. Do we want to sack this canyon? I think probably now it makes a little bit more sense. Maybe not. We're going to call against command. I'm going to deal 2, and you discard. Okay, untap.
Yep.
All right, now we just have to decide what we all want to be doing with the Arcanist. If we want to try to kill Hierarch, I think that would be a little aggressive at this point. Or if we want to try to flash back Kolaghan's command with Chandra, that's also a little aggressive because the 2/3 flyer could just kill Chandra here. I think we want to start with sacrificing this.
Yep.
Okay. Then we are going to take 2.
You're at 18.
18 and cast a Plague Engineer.
That's gross. So nothing we can really do about that. Resolves.
Human. And now it's the question of, do we want to attack with some elementals? Or do we want to just tick up? Those are the only 2 options. And Ross can't go sword and equipped if he were to flash in a creature, so I'm not too worried about that. So I think we will just make a couple elementals.
Yep.
Get in there.
I will definitely flash in and block one of the elementals.
Okay.
7.
Yep. And you're flashing in before blocks, right? Yeah, we're just going to deal 2. I don't want to flash the lightning bolt back yet, so put you to 7 and pass to you. And we had to see Spellqualler coming, but Ross didn't have a good time to do it because of Arcanist. Spellqualler would have been insane, but Arcanist really shut it down.
So I need to be dealing with this Chandra, as well as trying to, make some reasonable blocks. And I think that's going to involve attacking here for 2.
All right, it's down to 2.
Drew land, which is nice. I'll play a Ranger Captain.
Okay.
Trigger it. And do I just get... I can get the Hex Drinker here, or I can get...
Hey, get a Noble Hierarch, man.
I could get a... No, the bird's already in the graveyard, so I can't get the bird. So I can get Hex Drinker or Giver of Runes. Can cast either of them. I think the fact that Giver can block one of the 1/1s if Corey goes that route makes it more valuable.
It's reasonable.
So I'm going to get it, and I'll go to 6 to cast it.
Okay.
And we will pass the turn.
Okay. All right, now we definitely have options here. So we can flashback Kolaghan's command and bolt. So we already have 5 damage to the face right now. I don't like that as much. So we can... All right, I think we got it here. We're going to go with make 2 1/1s.
Yep.
And we'll get in there. I'm going to bolt. Targeting Ranger.
I'll sacrifice in response.
Okay.
So if I... Okay, that's good. So I can actually take 4 here because Corey can't flash back to Kolaghan's command because of the Ranger Captain.
And already activated. So.
Oh yeah, and you made
Yep,
2
yep,
2/1.
yep.
So yeah, so a bunch of reasons why. So I guess we just have to block the Arcanist again.
Okay.
We'll take 4, go to 2.
Put you to 2. All right. Plague Engineer, Spirit. Go. So now we're going to keep the Chandra alive in an ideal world here.
That one's not going to do it. We needed a removal spell at some point for this Arcanist, and just never found it.
Arcanist really did. I got to cast 6 lightning bolts this game.
Yeah.
Who would have guessed if you cast 6 lightning bolts, you'd be able to.
We are dead.
Yep. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to have time to finish our 3rd game.
We got 7 minutes. We can go over a little bit.
Okay.
Fast and loose.
Fast and loose.
You want to
So
make
my normal play.
Yes. Do you want to make those swaps?
Yeah, I'll make those quick swaps here. Like I mentioned earlier, Liliana on the draw is much worse. Thoughtseize is you really want to be on the draw because you are going to have 1 less card. I just, in general, like to have hand disruption spells on the draw more than on the play because you want to be proactive on the play.
Liliana normally pretty good in these mid-range mirrors, but once one person has Noble Hierarch, I'm able to get to the battlefield faster and generate more creatures, so I usually have something left behind to kill it when you try to Edict, and I empty my hand faster than you, so the plus isn't as good. So it really flips the script on Liliana once you have Noble Hierarch.
Yep, that's fair. All right, so you're going to be on the play for all the marbles.
Let's do it.
Yeah, just so you know, if you take the marbles from me, I'm not giving you a ride, Matt. No, I'm just kidding. Wow.
The highest.
Totally kidding.
Worth it.
All right.
Not a great hand here from my side, but it's pretty reasonable, so I'm definitely going to keep it.
And mine is super questionable. I mean, there's obvious problems here, but if we can get some help from the top of the deck, this hand is pretty good. I got a mulligan. It's a little too bad. Okay. 1 lander on the draw.
Since we're going to be going over, can we take a question while he's shuffling?
First off, Spoony Mango's saying, Corey trying to deny us the 3rd game. What a heel move.
yeah, I know.
As far as actual questions, Hysteus asks, would you ever consider playing any swords besides Fire and Ice, Feast and Famine, or Light and Shadow?
I think both War and Peace and what was it? Something in Sinew, the
Sinew
Rakdos
and
one?
Steel.
Sinew and Steel. I think War and Peace and Sinew and Steel are both considerations in certain decks. I'm going to play a tapped Talisman and pass.
All right. And Cliffs and pass.
Okay, well, I like seeing that. I'm going to go to 17 for a breeding pool.
Okay.
Play a Stoneforge Mystic. I assume this is dying, so I'm just going to get a Sword of Light and Shadow to have a better card in my hand.
We'll interact with that later. All right. And we're going to play another Cliffs and pass it to you.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Very interesting.
Okay, I will play a Windswept Heath and pass the turn.
All right. Not attacking with Stoneforge. Definitely something going to be activated. Our hand is quite awkward, so we're just going to go land go.
Okay, I will crack this fetch.
Okay. Should a 16 or?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's get a Temple Garden.
Temple Garden coming in.
Since we don't have to worry about Blood Moon. But maybe I'm supposed to get basics because of Coatl, but I'm so far away from that.
And what about my Blood Moons that may be still in the deck? You don't know. Except you do know.
Don't want to play into a Kolaghan's Command. So.
Okay.
Not going to do that.
Smart.
I will, however, attack you for 1.
Okay. 19.
And I will play a Jace.
And a Jace. Jace is pretty good.
15. And do I want to play around a Lightning Bolt? I think I do.
That makes sense.
If you use 2 bolts on this, then my Stoneforge is probably going to live. So I'm just going to Fate Seal myself.
Okay.
Much to the chagrin of Shaheen Sarani. I'll leave that one on top and pass.
All right. End step. We are going to play Kolaghan's Command. I'll deal 2 and have you discard.
I will
Jace
discard.
is terrifying right now.
I'm going to discard a Path to Exile, actually.
Okay. Makes sense. Untap. Ooh, that's a pretty strong one. Now I need to be pressuring that Jace here. So we're going to go with a Seasoned Pyromancer. I need to get something going here. Plague Engineer is not great. We'll also get rid of this Swamp to get one of these. Draw 2.
Yep.
And then play a Lamp for the turn and ship it to you.
Okay, very good. We get to Brainstorm.
Hate that.
And
So our hand is developing decently, even though our opener was pretty awkward. But Jace is just so good right now against just against black red in general. There's not much
Play a
ways to actually
Stoneforge.
deal with it. Yep.
I'm going to get a Batter Skull this time.
Okay.
And then pass the turn.
All right. So I'll sacrifice this down to 18. Gotta assume that there's a spell queller waiting for me just for the fun.
It's for the lols.
The lols, huh? Okay.
Quaddles?
For the quaddles? Okay, that's an interesting one. We'll play this. And we'll attack Jace.
And what am I afraid of?
Spiders?
I have a feeling like there's removal for this Queller, so I'm just going to try to force it out right now and try to ambush. So I'm going to go to 14 from the canopy.
Okay.
Before blocks, play Queller. And if there's not a removal, I'm pretty happy to just ambush the Pyromancer.
Yep, that's fine.
Block.
Okay, that'll die. Definitely gonna do something here. Let's see. Really don't want Stoneforge to go off, but I also would like to deal with Spell Queller. So this is kind of a tough choice. Let's see. We're gonna go. Okay, I think I got it. We're gonna go Chandra, tick up.
You got one land tapped.
Yep. Oh, sorry. I gotta sacrifice this. Get a swamp.
Are you ticking up for mana?
Yep.
So you're at 17 from the fetch. So we have red, red, black.
Yeah, and then we're gonna go Culligan's Command. And we're going to kill Mystic, and I think I want to rebuy the Pyromancer here. Yeah, we'll rebuy that. Your turn. I, too, have a 5 loyalty Planeswalker.
So 2K commands down. Let's brainstorm.
Okay.
And we can put those back for sure. Play a fetch land.
Yep.
Let's attack the Chandra for 2.
Down to 3.
Definitely cracking this one.
Shoot a 13 to 18. My Planeswalker does not, unfortunately, give me the kind of card advantage that Ross did.
13 to 17, you fetched last
a lot
turn.
worse. Yep, you're right.
So I know you have a Seasoned Pyromancer.
Yep.
You've already used 2K commands. Is this Batter Skull just good to go? I guess you can -3 on the Germ and trade it for the Chandra. I'd be pretty okay with that. But I don't think I need to take that risk right now. So
makes sense.
I will pop this canopy.
Okay, I love that.
And pass the turn.
Interesting.
I just wanted to see if I had something I could cast. But I don't.
Interesting. All right, well, now let's see. Can attack here right away. Force your hand. Yep, we'll attack there.
Jace going to 4, not a big deal. Still need 2 burn spells to deal with it.
Yep. All right, now we'll go with a Seasoned Pyromancer.
Feels like bait, but not really going to be able to. Oh, I could do that way. if I really just care about dealing with this Seasoned Pyromancer, I could
can do some stuff,
but I'm not actually that concerned about it. So yeah, Pyromancer is fine.
All right, we'll discard these 2. They're a little clunky. I didn't really draw that many spells, oddly enough, here, so we're just gonna get those. Okay. Now, what do we want to do with that? Okay. How good is Chandra right now if it's going to kind of fizzle away? Yeah, all right. We'll tick up for mana. and play this Chandra.
Okay.
Sounds
I mean, actually, maybe that one. So you have 2 cards in hand, 1 mana untapped?
Yes.
And nothing is. So a Fatal Push wouldn't work. You'd have to have a Lightning Bolt.
I play those.
Yeah, you do play 4 of them. But I am going to go for it, I think. Let's quell the Chandra.
Okay. I'll pass to you.
I like that.
That makes one of us.
I will brainstorm.
Yep.
And that'll do, pig. That'll do.
Why, you calling me names?
I will send both Quellers at your big Chandra.
Okay.
And then I will give you a bunch of mana because I'm going to overload Winds of Abandon.
All right.
You got 4 basics.
All right. Sounds great. So I'm going to go get 4 basics.
So down to 2 cards,
1,
but plenty of mana.
2. They're good ones, though. Do I have many? Oh,
I think you might have. Oh, yeah, because you discarded 1.
Yep.
I thought you only had 5 total. So, yeah, only 2
Okay.
basics. So,
Not
even
bad.
better.
Not
So you got
bad.
7 mana over there.
Okay.
And I'm done.
All right. Now I can Fatal Push.
That's pretty good.
Get that back. We'll untap. You read the situation right on the last turn. Ah. That's an unfortunate draw. Let's see. So I could recast a Culligan's Command, deal 2, get a Plague Engineer to finish off Spell Queller. It's decent. And then you don't have a creature to attack. I kind of like that. All in the process of making... No, I'd have to get the creature back. Or I could start with a Reveler here. 1, 2, 3. God, my Revelers are so expensive. Yeah, we'll do the Culligan's Command play. I think that's better.
So you're going to deal 2 to this, return Plague Engineer, cast
Exactly.
a Name Spirit.
Name Spirit.
Now
Okay.
dies.
Pass to you. Just trying to pressure this Jace, even though it's just not happening.
Yeah, let's brainstorm.
Okay.
Definitely can get rid of that one. And
This brainstorm has been along for far too long.
let's do it that way.
Okay.
And then I will play Giver of Runes.
Sure.
I will play Hex Drinker.
Okay.
I will level once,
Yep.
level twice,
Sure.
level 3 times.
Sure.
So now pro instance and a 4/4. Play this Flooded Strand and pass the turn.
All right. That is going to be a problem. Then it has protection from everything, right?
Yeah, once it
Okay.
gets to 8.
Okay, well, it's a little brutal. Now I could bring back the other Culligan's Command and kill Giver of Ruins and bring back a Plague Engineer named Snake. It's not gonna really be that relevant. I think I just have to sacrifice. I'm gonna have to take
16?
3.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take 3. I don't have another basic.
14.
We're just gonna have to play one of these Revelers and hope we can. Every time you have a Reveler, you draw another Reveler. You know.
Yeah.
Right, so 1, 2. So it costs 6. 6. All right. So Reveler, draw 3.
Yep.
Not ideal. Not ideal at all. Now we can attack a little. That's not great. I want to get this in play. We'll go like this. I think we'll just tick up. I'll attack Jace. Actually, do I just stop caring and just attack you? Yeah, let's just attack you.
Okay, I'll go to 11.
Okay.
You want to attack that to
Yep,
3?
and then we're going to tick that up. Your turn.
Okay. End step, I will pass the Bedlam Reveler.
Okay. No search.
Yeah,
You've ran me out of basics.
So I know the top card is not great, but let's keep the still there. Let's brainstorm.
Okay. This game has been crazy.
Yeah, we've done a lot of stuff. Want to deal with this Dreadhorde Arcanist.
All right.
Then I want to play another Giver of Runes.
Sure. I won't kill anything, I promise.
I want to level this to 4.
Okay.
This actually doesn't get... Might not get anything, actually.
Yeah, you have a lot of lands as well.
I'm going to attack your Chandra for... you named... This is on Spirit still. Okay.
It was on Spirits, yep.
Yep.
Okay.
And pass the turn.
All right. Yeah, this is not looking good. All right, well... Can't really attack even, because you can give protection from black. All right, I'll attempt to play this.
What does that do? Let's see, flashback something.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm just going to call it.
Good call. Good call. I'll play this, and yeah, your turn. We're hellbent over here.
And so crack this fetch, go to 10.
Yep.
I do have another basic island, but let's get a Temple Garden, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think I have any draws at this point.
No.
If you still have some gas, we can pack her in.
I still have the Batter Skull.
Yeah,
That's
Battle Skull
sitting
and the
around.
sword, right?
No, I shuffled that away.
Oh, okay.
I have that and Quaddle and other.
Yeah, that's game. Good games.
Just buried by the Jace. Really.
Yeah, it really was. It was a story of Jace this time, and you don't play a lot of Jace, if anything, just one or something, right? Just 2. And I mean, it can be insane in a matchup where I can't directly deal with it, and I'm not pressuring you very fast. So there's certain draws where it's just insane.
Yeah.
I didn't have any hand disruption, so I couldn't, clear the way for that. But I mean, you capitalized it and kind of crushed me.
Yeah.
So the marbles are yours.
That's definitely the major issue, I think, with this Rakdos deck is it just doesn't have great early pressure. That's the Sacrifice from Tarmogoyf. And Bedlam Reveler is difficult to cast. There's not a lot, without Faithless Looting.
Yeah.
It's really hard to set up those Bedlam Revelers. So that's a card that can probably change into something that's a little bit better at applying early pressure. Not sure what that would be.
Yeah.
Because your options are limited. But, I think that's where you have to look if you like this deck and you want to improve upon it. This Bant deck, though, it looks sweet.
It's insane. And I want to touch on one thing I think we really learned from today is the Thoughtseize decks didn't look great. Plain and simple, they didn't look great. Every deck is so powerful, and there's so much card advantage you're getting from each one of your cards. In Urza, in, Stoneforge Mystic, Bant Blade, whatever. You just can't deal with the top of the deck. And with cards being so good right now and every deck being so proactive, it's just rough to play a Thoughtseize deck because there's so much action coming off the top. So, I mean, if I'm looking at the data from today, I would not want to be playing a Thoughtseize deck.
Yeah, I agree. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think there are other ways that you can combat the big mana decks.
Yep.
And, Tron didn't do that well last weekend. Scape Shift looked like a better option. A lot of people had a lot of Force Negation, so they were less prepared against specifically the card Primeval Titan.
Yep.
So if that happens and Tron declines, you don't need to be have that in the forefront of your mind when you're metagaming for the tournament. You need to be able to beat the burn decks. You need to be able to beat the other mid-range decks and the Urza decks. And most
importantly, you need to be open for the metagame. You need to have a deck that's good against the metagame. And I think proactiveness is kind of the name of the game right now.
Yeah. So this Bant Blade deck looks really sweet.
It does.
I think it's got great tools to win a lot of the other matchups while still having this, this parade of card advantage in mid-range mirrors.
Yeah.
And it's a nice, powerful, proactive deck, playing powerful cards and Noble, Stoneforge Mystic. I think it uses Giver of Runes wonderfully.
Agreed.
Uses Ranger Captain Vios wonderfully. So that's 2 Modern Horizons cards that it's really adapting quite well. And has a really strong sideboard. You got some good counter spells. You've got some, Stony Silences. You have options for Graveyard Hate. You have that Winds of Abandon is a great one-of removal spell.
It worked. It worked. That's for sure.
So definitely an impressive showing from this deck.
And impressive from Urza as well. Just play one of these established, very good proactive decks out there. If that's our lesson, play this deck or play Urza. Be proactive.
Okay. We are already over time, so we got some subs to shout out before we wrap this up.
We got a couple. Archon Bartholomew has a new subscriber with a Prime sub, and SZat is also a new subscriber with a Prime sub.
All right,
Awesome.
all right.
Thank you very much. We will be back Tuesday, same time, same place, 1 o'clock Eastern, twitch.tv/SCG Tour. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can catch us live there. So we've got some Thrones of Eldraine preview season coming up. We've got Legacy next weekend in Syracuse. So we will probably take a small break from Modern and try to look at those things for next week. But we'll be sure to let y'all know what we're doing. It's going to be fun. Regardless, thanks for being here. And that'll be all for us.
See you, everyone.